Hey, it's Mike Del Visco back with another episode of the Outdoor Showcase. They are flying by. We're 3 in this month of October, and we got another great episode coming up here this evening with you, showcasing vendors and companies that are going to be in both the East Tennessee Fishing Show and the brand new Alabama Fishing Show and Expo that we announced earlier this month, which we're really excited about. Uh, don't forget that if after you're done watching it here on social media, jump on over. If you've got an Amazon Fire Stick or a Roku device, you can go on to the Outdoor Showcase, download either one of those apps, and watch 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Watch all the past episodes, and new episodes usually show up there within the next 24 hours after they air on social media. So, look, tons of great ways to watch the Outdoor Showcase. And we're real excited to have Jesse French here from Blue Rock Custom Lures, Custom Tackle. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, Blue Rock Custom Tackle, and you're in a great place of the country to make and sell and fish with the stuff that you make. You make tons of cool things. I'm looking at your website right now. Actually, looks like since the last time I saw your site, looks like you've added a bunch of stuff. Some of the graphics look great. See all kinds of stuff. I see this thing called the 1099 jig. That's pretty cool too as well. So you got tons of stuff going on.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a busy year, and we try to definitely keep adding products that we think people need, as we grow a little bit each year. We had another year of growth this year, which was good. So, just try to keep bringing some quality, no nonsense products to the table for the casual and serious fishermen.
Cool. What's been your over the last, since I saw you in January at last year's East Tennessee Fishing Show? What's been your hot
Uh,
seller after that show?
right. So, that little 1099 jig that you actually mentioned, we released last Halloween, like going into winter. Which here in Ohio, it didn't really catch on until we don't really get to fishing hard until late March, early April. So it has been by far our best selling product, probably hands down. Other than maybe the triple threat was a little Ned jig we released a couple years ago, but it has been on fire. It's just a little compact, well built, heavy wired. I've got one sitting here. It's just a little 2/0 hook. These little Ohio fish and smallmouth on the Great Lakes, and even the guys from the Tennessee show. I had several callback custom color orders and just a bunch of different things down there. There's always a place for a compact jig for sure.
And
And it,
so, and what sizes does that come in?
so this one is actually it's a 3/16, 5/16, and a 7/16. This little dude with the stout 2/0. Um, it's just a great jig. We got a wire tied skirt and a quality little, just a premium little well built jig. Um, we've had requests from the guys down south for a bigger version, um, hook wise. So that's actually one of our. It's going to be our Halloween release. This is the. I think we're just going to call it like the 1099 XL. So it's the same exact design, beefed up weed guard, and these are going to have a 4/0 and a 3/8 and a 5/0 and a half ounce. So same design because we found out it skips really well and it's just really good for kind of everything. So we spun it off and did a full size version of it for this year, this upcoming year also.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course buzz baits. It's buzz bait season, but here in East
Right.
Tennessee, it's just, it's been weird. I don't know if you've had the same kind of weather we have, but it seems like, summer's not letting go. Our water temperature's still in the, 71, 72 degrees, but the water's come way down in the lake. Fish are starting to try to move back in the pockets, and the
Yeah,
bug bite's just starting to pick up.
yeah, and it's probably been the same down here, but we've just had beautiful, crisp, low humidity and just nice 60, 70-degree days for it feels like the past month.
Yeah.
When those fish they're really settling in. They're scattered out with that buzzbait bite. It's kind of spread out, but when you find one that wants to eat it, it's game on for sure. Um, the buzzbait it's probably, I don't know. Things evolve faster up here because our nights get colder. Like it's kind of moving to a rattle trap thing already, spinner bait up here, but we're getting nights dipping into the 30s also too. So
Yeah, we've had none of that yet.
right, right, yeah. I got deer on the brain right now, so I love chasing these big Ohio whitetails with my bow, just like I love to fish. So that
Yeah,
kind of makes it stressful on me this time of year because I need to be stocking up inventory at the same time.
yeah.
Boys
And,
will be boys.
and you've got that buzz bait two different ways.
Right.
One with a traditional skirt, like you would buy any buzz bait. Then you've got the naked version too, no
Yeah,
skirt. Which
yeah,
is how I've the last probably year or two I've really started to fish my buzz baits with taking the skirt off and putting a like a Yamamoto Seiko
yeah,
or something like that.
yeah.
Trailer hook on the back. It just gives the fish a little bit something when they eat it to hold on to it a little bit longer.
Just seem to
Uh,
get better. They suck it in that too.
yeah,
Yeah, 100% on that for sure. Our buzz baits are a little bit lighter wired than like it's not a big, like thick as a pencil buzz bait wire, which there was a lot of people like I found little nichey things because last year was my first year at Knoxville. We fish heavy, highly pressured little 2,000 to 5,000 acre impoundments or all the inland lakes in Ohio. We have Lake Erie, which is in a class of its own, but these fish, these lakes we have are the size of a creek arm on one of you guys' big lakes. So these fish just see so many baits and just different, thousands of jigs and things coming by them. So these little tweaks we make, we lean smaller, we've got the Ohio River. It always but I didn't realize till I got down there, like how many smallmouth fishermen you guys had either. And we sold a ton of our Neds and just our finesse smallmouth jigs. And it kind of like made our whole show for us. So,
yes,
yeah,
small stuff like little bitty spinner baits and
yeah,
things like that.
yeah,
Especially when you get into that September time frame, and of course we're past September now, but when you've got all those little minnows, swimming around the pockets. And actually, I was out fishing this morning and saw quite a few of them. You really need to scale your baits down too, even down here, down south. So there's a
yeah,
time
yeah.
for all that stuff.
I, not to shove a bunch of baits in your face, but I sat out a few. Speaking of small things, this is something that we just released. It's new. It's a tiny, it's a just a micro tube basically, and we
So,
pulled up a little 1/0 heavy hook for it. These things are just awesome. 2.75 inch, just what you were just talking about. You throw that in a little, a smoke color or something this time of year. It can just be deadly, and we've sold a bunch of those already. Like I'm so excited. I'm leaving for Lake Erie for 4 days in the morning, and I've got my boat loaded down with them things. So I'm like antsy right now.
I don't blame you. I've got an event coming up here myself that I'm getting ready for as well. But yeah, Lake Erie is awesome.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
a great place.
Even
And
large fishing up there, just
yeah,
it's just, and St. Clair's the same way. Like these northern lakes have great largemouth fishing too.
yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Did you bring any of your blade baits to East Tennessee last year?
Um, that was another topic of discussion. I don't think I threw any blade baits on the expo trailer last year, but I heard a lot about them while I was down there. So we're going to be ready this year. I actually upgraded to a different, like a new powder coat system, and I'm going to be able to paint like white chartreuse instead of just the silver and brass that I've always had. So I'm going to have some cool colors, and I am going to have blade baits and a little variety. So
That is a big thing on not only Douglas Lake, the lake that I live on, but Cherokee, which is right next door, Dale Hollow,
right,
Center
right.
Hill. There's a ton of lakes where that blade bait, especially here in the wintertime in East Tennessee, where that really, really works good. And of course, there's people that come from how many different states do they come? They come to the
I'm
East
one of them.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not to mention, you're going to be at the Alabama show, our brand new show
Yep.
that we actually just announced that earlier this month, Gadsden, Alabama. That is going to be an awesome show, and there's going to be it's centrally located too, so just like East Tennessee, we've got all these lakes, within an hour radius of East Tennessee. There's tons of them within an hour radius of Gadsden, and it's right on the Coosa River, right there, nearly Henry.
Right. I think that little 1099 jig will catch some guys' eye for the spots, because that's we have Kentuckies on this little river. I live across the field from a little river, and the Kentuckies love that little jig. They get good with a small hook, and you can hit them hard with a flip stick. And I think some guys are going to like it. Regardless, you guys put on a great show, and I saw Sheila's post, and I was like, I'm in. I wasn't even asking questions. So we'll
Yeah,
gamble with you guys for the first year. I think it'll be just fun.
it should be great. And I've spent an awful lot of time down there at Neely Henry and a lot of those Alabama lakes, and that area really needs a fishing show. There is no other fishing show really around the area that's
Yeah.
like East
I'm
Tennessee show.
pumped.
We're bringing that there.
And I'll have a month between, like, Columbus, Ohio is a pretty big show, and I'll have a month just to kind of catch my breath between that and Alabama. And I should just really enjoy it. I should be ready and prepared, and because it's going to be a busy January and
Yeah,
February.
going to be great. And the Coosa River chain, those are different spotted bass than your regular
Yeah,
Kentucky
yeah,
spot.
yeah.
And what's kind of unique about Alabama is that Smith Lake, for example, has regular Kentucky spots. Lake Martin, which is fairly close to Gadsden as well, has regular spots. So they've got both species, and every single one of your baits will catch fish there.
Right. Well, I know the Cousas are in a class of their own as far as being one. That's been a bucket list thing of mine, just to get down there and fish for them.
Yeah,
So maybe I can get some info and find a place to go hack around down there.
you can literally catch them where the venue is, right there at the landing.
Really?
You can go a half a mile in either direction of there's three bridges that are all no wake right in that whole stretch of river, and you can catch them all up and down there a half a mile in each direction.
You might see me down there banking after the show in the evening.
I don't blame you. You can probably catch them right there from the landing too. So,
Uh,
so Jesse, website, social media links to get them out there so people can catch your stuff.
yeah, yeah. BlueRockTackle.com. Pretty straightforward. We have a pretty big following on TikTok. Has been a kind of a cool thing for us this year. Instagram, it's all just Blue Rock Tackle, is all the tags on it. So Facebook, whatever, reach out. We're always here. We're just a small business, and we still take custom orders and all that stuff too. So we just love the outdoors, not just fishing. So um, it's cool. I'm very happy with what I do.
Excellent, excellent. Always a pleasure to have you either at the East Tennessee Fishing Show here on the Outdoor Showcase and now the Alabama Fishing Show and Expo. Can't wait. I'm jealous you're going to Lake Erie and catching all them fish, but somebody's got to go do that stuff. R&D, I guess.
It's actually just a little. It's a club deal. Me and my dad have fished together for years, and we still make time to do it. But um, the tournament's actually going to be restricted to the bay, so um, uh, it kind of stinks when you go up there and you're in a tournament that's restricted to the bay because you know what's out there. But
Right.
at the same time, I forget about it pretty quick because you just go to catching largemouth after largemouth in the bay, and the occasion 3 to 4 pound smallmouth will surprise you. So as
Yeah.
long as something's tugging on the line, I'm not going to complain too much.
Well, I'm sure you're excited to get going, and we're going to take a real quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Can't wait to see you here in January, and good luck with the rest of your season.
Thanks, Mike.
Hey, it's Mike Del Visco back with you here at the Outdoor Showcase. Coming up next, it's a one of my favorite guys to talk to. I don't get to spend enough time with him at the East Tennessee Fishing Show when I do see him because we're always both so busy. But one of my favorite guys, and a little bit of housekeeping here right before we get going is if you've got an Amazon or a Roku device on your TV, um, download the Outdoor Showcase app. It's a good way to go back and watch every single episode that's ever been from day one, the Outdoor Showcase. They're all there 24/7. If you've got Amazon Fire TV, that's how I watch it, or Roku device, just go on. We have our own dedicated channels. You can watch 24/7, and you'll be able to watch this episode just after it airs on social media, usually that night or the next morning. It's up there. But right now, we got Rob Cochran from Jawjacker Lures, one of my favorite guys. He's always there right down in the left-hand corner of the East Tennessee Fishing Show. Every year we get there. We never get enough time to go, say hi to each other because I'm running one way, you're busy with customers. But now we get to spend a few minutes talking to each other.
Oh yeah. I get slammed pretty hard on the first day, actually, real hard.
Yeah. So since we last saw each other, I guess it's been about 9 months now. What have you had going on there in the bait world?
Well, we're actually, you guys know that I had when Sonny McFarland retired, I got flat shad baits from him. We're bringing flat shad back out as a next generation. I'm not going to try to copy his stuff. He told me do what I wanted to with it, so that's what I'm doing. So this year at the show, I'm going to have his Sonny B and the PT model, which is both flat sides. One's a 1/2 inch version, one's a 3/8 inch version. Everybody knows what a PT is. If you live in East Tennessee, you knew Pete Reynolds.
That's awesome. Continuing that legacy of those crankbaits. And the one thing that's unique, and I talk about this, I think about every episode that we do, that the East Tennessee Fishing Show is by far the best pure fishing tackle show that there is. And not just from, like retailers like our buddy Matt McKee, who was on last week's episode, and all the other tons of great tackle shop vendors, but the
Right.
custom lure makers like yourself.
Matt carries my baits when I have them, and I very rarely have them in stock because as soon as I get a batch done, they're gone.
Yeah.
There's a couple stores I sell to there. You have to have certain resale certificates and all that on file and everything, but I do that. Most of my stuff I do on Facebook. You go to Facebook, look up Jawjacker handmade balsa crankbaits, and I'll pop up everywhere.
Yeah. You can certainly find you pretty easy.
Yep. There's like you said there at the Knoxville show, you've got so many guys. There's custom painters, there's rod builders, You've got everything there, and you have to come to that show to get most of it. They will
Yep.
ship to you, but if you don't get it at that show, it's hard to get. Sometimes you have to wait for it.
Yeah. And sometimes, a lot of these smaller companies, this may be the only show that they do for the whole year. That this is it. This is their one shot. Because the crowds are so big and it's a buy-in show, people know what to expect when they get there.
Yeah,
And this is their big show for the year.
I get hammered really hard the first day, and there's people actually trying to get in before it even opens to get stuff. And I'm like, nope, you got to come in. You got to buy a ticket.
Yeah.
You just said something there. You said that's one of the only shows. Well, not necessarily. Remember, we're going to Alabama this year. And I can't wait. Sheila done it. She told me she was going to do it. And guess what? She did it. We're going to Gadsden, Alabama in March.
Yeah, we have been, Sheila and I have been talking about this for a while. And, with everything that's happened the last few years, we were looking at Huntsville, and it really wasn't the right. But there's another show there, albeit it's in the summertime. But we wanted to bring the East Tennessee Fishing Show concept to another venue, and Gadsden, Alabama, is a place that I'm really familiar with. I've spent a lot of time there fishing tour events, and almost actually moved there. And that landing that they've got there in the new Expo Center, the landing at the venue at Coosa Landing. Is an awesome place. Going to be great to have a show there. Can't wait for you to be there too.
I've had guys already emailing me, you coming? I'm like, I done paid the booth rent. It's a done deal. If something doesn't happen, I'm on the way down there. Googled it on the MapQuest, 2 hours, 55 minutes from the shop. I'm there.
It's not a bad ride at all.
No.
And it's, the thing that I like about that location too, it's right on Neely Henry, one of my favorite places to go fish. And there's tons of lakes, Gunnersville's there, Neely Henry's there, Smith Lake's there, Lake Martin. If you can draw an hour circle around Gadsden, you're going to hit a bunch of lakes. Weiss Lake too.
It's just like East Tennessee. If you're in the central, if you're in Knoxville, you're within 30 to 45 minutes to an hour from any lake you want to fish in East Tennessee.
Yeah. And every one of them is designed for your baits.
It's perfect. Yes. I can't wait. I'm not sure what kind of baits to bring down there. So I'm bringing Petey's. I'm bringing the Sunny Bees. New little bait here. People hasn't seen this one yet. Small profile bait, big lip. It's a 10-footer. I call it Little Man. A lot of y'all don't know my little Yorkie. He passed away. This is for him. So they're going to be there. I've got some guys, they're doing the Big Bass Bash right now. They took this to go play with it. I hope they get some money out of it. I'm just saying. We've got X model. Scooter. Some guys wanted coffin lip. Scooter's going to be a good one. And, of course, my one I dedicated to my mom, the Mama J. That is one bad little bait.
That's awesome. And so that little short body one with the big diving lip goes 10 feet. That is perfect for, a lot of that stuff here in East Tennessee, when you need a smaller profile bait, but it's hard to find one that'll go that deep.
You think about something. These small profile baits, everybody's got that old adage, big fish, big bait. No. How many fish have you ever caught on a number 5 Shad Rap that were over 5 pounds?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Okay, that's it. Everybody kept saying, I want a small profile with a big lip to go deep. That's about as deep as I can get that one without losing action on it. That one's got a medium action, still rises pretty quick, so you can actually put a bigger hook on it. The only drawback to when you get that short profile, you put a bigger hook on it, they'll tangle.
Right.
There's no way you can stop that. Even putting a short shank on it, they still tangle.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only drawback, and I can't figure out how to do it because the bait's so short.
Right. It's just one of them things. And little hooks, really, when they eat it, they're going to get every hook in their face. So
I don't ever go over a size 4. I've got 2 sizes I put on there. I use VMC light wire hooks. The hooks on them are super sharp. They're light wire. They're really, really a good hook, but everybody wants to have this big, heavy, meaty hook. That kills a handmade crankbait bad. The action,
Absolutely.
it deadens it.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
what do? You tell them that, and they still do it. So I just let them do it.
And one of the other things that we hadn't touched on about that small concept bait is that look at what's happened here the last 2 or 3 years is that all the lakes, I live on Douglas. I see it firsthand that there's tournaments every single weekend. There's about 8 jackpots during the week. There's
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday nighters, Wednesday nighters, Thursday nighters,
Same
Wednesday
way on Loud.
mornings. Every high school team known to man is here fishing.
Yep.
I think somebody just had a tournament this past weekend. Plus, Big Bass was here.
Big Bass was there.
Yeah. It just gets a lot of pressure, and you got to downscale your baits. I've noticed that I've had to change even the stuff that I fish, which is so weird sometimes in the fall. I've had to change my approach too.
Little bitty one, JP4. It's maybe 1.125 long. Shallow runner, I'll have some of those. They run foot deep. I've got guys up north hammering me. They fish the Ohio River. They want something that doesn't run 16, 18 inches deep.
Right.
So I took the scraps in my wood and come up with this. It comes up. There's some over here I haven't put the wires in yet. Oh, they're a bad little bait, and they don't run but about that deep. So like up Douglas, when they get up in them shallow ditches up in there and they're up in the sun, getting a suntan in the winter, you can flat load the boat with them.
Yeah. And those guys from Ohio too, fishing the river and fishing their lakes. We had Jesse French on the other day, and we were talking about the same thing, that he's got some small jigs and stuff, and it's just the pressure on those smaller lakes and the Ohio River just doesn't have a lot of big fish in it too, so it's perfect.
The guys up in the Ohio up there, they're used to a bait called the Darton R. It's a wandering bait, and they are really, really hard to get a hold of. They're no longer made, and there's some guys up there that's taking CNC machines and cutting them and making some, and they're really close to the originals.
Nice. What else are you going to have at either one of those shows? You got anything that's I know you've talked about a lot of baits, a lipless or anything else, or you just strictly all just
I'm not getting into the lipless. That they're kind of weird to make. I've done some. I wasn't impressed with them. There's a guy that makes them. I can't remember his name right now. He lives over in the Carolinas. He does a really, really good one. I can't remember his name. I let them do that. I've got hundreds of designs I'll probably never ever get to make.
Right.
So I mean, there's so many. When Sonny retired, he handed me his design book, and I'm like, oh man, I'll never get this done. I sitting there thinking about it when you called me and said, hey, let's do this. I was sitting there thinking, I started selling baits, legally selling baits in 93. So this coming year is going to be 30 years of building baits. I've built them longer than that, but I've sold them for 30 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time to be in the bait business.
Yeah, it sure is. And you've got the reputation too. I mean, even from guys that don't live in Tennessee, I remember one of those years, I think it was 4, 5, 6 years ago that, when Shaw Grigsby, my buddy Shaw, was up doing seminars, and Scroggins came in with him. I think Scroggins had an entire shopping bag full of your baits with him when he left.
Shaw comes over there and he goes, okay, I know what's on the table. He says, I want to see what's under the counter.
Yeah.
And he knows that. He comes over there, and Miyuki and Shin Fukai come over there. And this was the bait that they wanted. They wanted this little bitty bait. They knew I was making it, so I made them a bunch of them and sent to them. And they says, I know they're under the table. I know they're under there. I'm like, yeah, and here they are, and I give him the bag and just let him get what he wanted. Shaw always comes over and sits down. Him and Terry Scroggins is probably one of my favorite people to sit down and just talk to.
Yeah.
Because they're so down to earth.
Yeah.
I mean, I love all of them. I'll sit there and talk to Mark Davis. He's told me stories and stories from where he's been overseas and stuff. And, you'll sit there before the show and just kind of BS with him. And I'll have tears in my eyes. I'm laughing at some of the stories he tells me. And I'm like,
Yeah,
this
Mark's
happened
a
on
funny
tour.
guy.
I'd love to be on tour just to watch what happens, you know? It would be so interesting.
It was all those guys I've known for such a long time, and those kind of reminisce about the good old days a lot. I fished my first Bassmaster Invitational 41 or 2 years ago. I was a senior in high school, so I fished with all them guys back then, and grew up fishing all that stuff. So to see where it was and where it's gone and where it's going to go is crazy.
I really wish back when I was in high school in the early 80s, they would have had the high school fishing teams. Back then, that was a redneck sport. They didn't do that. You just didn't do that. Nowadays, there's guys getting $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 boats fishing a high school tournament.
Yeah,
it's really going places. I mean, I'd love to have been able to done that. I sure wouldn't be cutting grass for a living. I'll just tell you that now.
Yeah, it was certainly a lot different than what it is now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We're running up. We're about 2 minutes away from a commercial. Have you ever done anything with topwater baits?
I have done some prop baits and things like that. There's guys that do a whole lot better job at that. I like my diving baits.
Yeah.
You got Craig Powers. He makes the one called CPR.
Yeah.
That's a little pop art reminiscent of the P70. That's a real good bait. You got Brian Hoskins Brian's Bees over in the Carolinas over there.
He makes some good prop baits.
He builds a killer prop bait. So I leave that to them guys. If I want one for me, I'll build one. But I've got my hands full cutting bodies for this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing to build one for me. I mean, but I've got too many things now. I can't hardly keep up with these here as it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll get guys calling, hey, I need 60 of these. I'm like, well, I've got to set the machine up to cut them.
and now you got 2 shows to get ready for.
I sit down here yesterday. I had some peaties that didn't router real smooth. So I'm like, okay, I've got about 300 of these. I've been putting foil on them. I'm going to tell you right now, the foil baits that are coming out now are extremely cool. This is a little man in a foil neon, and it is just plain awesome.
That's cool looking. Yeah.
And it's foil. If you get a little burr or something in the wood and you can't feel it to do a smooth painted bait, foil it. I sell a ton of foil baits. Years ago, you couldn't give one away.
Right.
And it's unreal what they do now. And you can do so many different patterns with it. It looks so cool.
Awesome. That's really cool. I'm going to spend some time here and come over and visit with you this year in January.
You need to come down to the shop. Bring Brandy. Karen and Brandy would probably get along very well.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that before the end of the year.
Believe it or not, there's a Texas Roadhouse about 10 minutes from here.
Oh, even better.
I'm in Turkey Creek. We'll go to Turkey Creek. You just bring them on down.
Cool. We'll make it happen. Appreciate you being here. Social media, find them. Jawjacker. Is it Jawjacker or?
It's Facebook. Go to Facebook, look up Jawjacker handmade balsa crankbaits, and you'll see all kinds of stuff on there. I've also got a flat shad page on there now too.
Okay, good. We'll make sure that we get the word out for that, and I'll go in and check it out as well. So
look at that on there. See what you like. Send me a message, just if you want to, whatever. Just shoot me a message. Let me know what's going on. If you like them, hey, that's even better.
Awesome. Can't wait to visit with you. I'll be in touch soon. Rob Cochran, Jawjacker.
Remember, tight lines, full live wells, wear your life jacket.
Always. We'll be right back after this commercial message. Rob Cochran on that side, Mike Delvisco on this side. We'll be right back.
Catch the best in outdoor products every month on the Outdoor Showcase. Hosts Sheila Bunch and Mike Delvisco bring you new, unique, and awesome products for the outdoors, featuring guests and segments. Whether you fish, boat, camp, or just love the outdoors, there's always something for everyone. We are live the last Thursday of every month, available on Fire TV and Roku. For more info or to have your products showcased, visit theoutdoorshowcase.com. We'll see you in the great outdoors.
Hey, Mike Delisco, back with you here, the Outdoor Showcase, and we are now at the end of another episode. We've done 3 of these in the month of October already, and it flies. We get guest after guest after guest here in the Outdoor Showcase, and if you want to watch any of the past episodes that we've done, whether it be this month or in the last year and a half since we started doing these, if you've got Amazon Fire Stick or Roku on your TV, really simple. You can go in and search the Outdoor Showcase, download the app, and be able to watch it right on your TV instead of your computer or mobile device, 24/7. Watch all the past episodes. Watch new episodes as they get broadcast on social media. They're usually up on Amazon or Roku like either the next day or that day after they air. So plenty of ways to watch. Check us out on social media too, Facebook, The Outdoor Showcase, and that will be a bunch of different ways that you can watch us. And right now we got Joe Sherrill from East Tennessee Custom Jigs on with us. Got to talk with him a little bit ago, and he's got a ton of different products for a multiple of species, which, the East Tennessee Fishing Show is not just a bass fishing show. It's a show that, if you catfish or crappie fish, striper fish, bass fish, you're going to be able to find something there at that show. And I'm glad that Joe is going to be there. East Tennessee Custom Jigs. Joe, how are you this morning?
Oh, we're doing great.
Great. So I'm just going to kind of let you run a little bit and show us some of your some of the baits that you've got and what you got going on for all the different anglers that fish for all different kinds of species.
All right. Well, we do primarily crappie baits. That's what I started out with. We started about a year ago. Kind of this started as just a hobby for me to make baits for me and the kids and my father-in-law, and then realized that we could maybe turn it into a business. So we've started making we've got over 40 different colors we make. We also do custom orders, a lot of different options. We do some smaller jigs, as you can see here, that are for bass fishing and smallmouth, largemouth bass. And we've got several different varieties of crappie baits. And like I said, we can do the round ball head. We can do different style of heads on them. But we also do all the way up to the striper fishing baits. So we've got a wide variety of stuff. We also do some sinkers, trolling sinkers, and things like that. Hang on just a second. I'll step up here and grab one. So we've got the 4 sizes of trolling sinkers with the double swivels. We're also doing we got 4 sizes of bottom bouncers for the walleye guys. And like I said, we're open to doing custom orders for just about anything. So if we pour lead and paint it, we can do it.
That's cool. So you showed there was 2 things that grabbed my attention there, and one was that the striper jig, which here on Douglas Lake, which is where I live, in the summertime, especially late April and into May, when the fish come off, they've come off spawn, or maybe even some are going pre-spawn out on them deeper, longer points. That big hair jig like that striper jig it's kind of a secret on the lake, but a lot of guys like throwing that.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about those, and you see them out, and they seem to be hard to find sometimes. Most of the time of the year, a lot of the places are out of them. We don't ever run out of them. So
that's awesome. And the other thing too, the weight, not the bottom bouncing weight, but the other one with the swivels on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I used years ago for Carolina rig fishing. So you wouldn't have to go put a stopper and tie swivels. You can just tie your main line to one end, your leader line to the other end, and be ready to go.
Yeah, Yeah, and like I said, we have them in several different sizes, so you can get some smaller ones that would work great in that application, and then all the way up to like a 2 ounce that works better for like a heavy wind when you're trolling for crappie.
Yeah, awesome. And primarily you tie in hair. Most of your jigs are hair product, or do you do any living rubber stuff too?
No, everything we're doing right now is hair jigs. 99% of them are natural hair. We have done a couple for some special orders that were synthetic hair just because you couldn't get the natural hair in the colors they wanted. But like I said, we're open to it. We're looking
Yeah, I can remember years
at doing
ago.
some extensions in the shop I've got right now, and we are come about 6 months from now, we should have shop. So we're getting ready to start building it. So
Awesome. I can remember years ago fishing smallmouth bass with a really small 16th ounce or 8th ounce black hair jig and on a spinning rod, throwing it out and just swimming it along, not hopping it along the bottom, just swimming that jig along them flats for them pre-spawn smallmouth. It worked great.
yeah, we've got several different sizes. We can do 32nd, 16th, 8th ounce. And like I said, as you can see behind me, we've got about 27 different color options. So if the little black jigs, whatever color you want them in, we can do different. We can do about 40 different colors of heads. You can get glow in the dark heads, solid colors, different color thread. Like I said, we can mix and match whatever you need. Like I said, that the little black jigs seem to be real popular for sure for smallmouth. Like I said, we've got different hook sizes. So whatever species you want to go for, however you need it, we should be able to take care of it.
That's awesome. Because crappie season is coming up here really soon. It's getting, end of October, another month. The crappie guys will be out in force. What's going to
Yep.
be your hot thing for crappie fishing?
Every fall, the pink and white is always a good option. The chartreuse baits seem to be real popular, but we've got a new one that's going to come out here probably at the show. That's going to be a good one, I think, come spring for the spring crappie guys. I don't think I'm going to be able to have it ready for the guys in the fall yet, but I got a new idea, and I think it's going to be a big hit, and I think it's going to work great. So.
Awesome. And I know you told me that you're working on a website and social media channels and stuff like that because you are a fairly new company. So we'll make sure that we get the word out. But East Tennessee Custom Jigs, Joe Sherrill, going to be great to see you at the East Tennessee Fishing Show coming up here in January.
Yep, we can't wait. We're excited and looking forward to seeing everybody again this year. We almost sold everything we brought last year, so we're going to try to bring more this year and be ready to go and hopefully have a bunch of new stuff and stir up some more excitement in crappie fishing and hair jigs.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have when you almost sell everything that you bring to a show, and most people don't realize when they go to, they think, well, I've got enough stuff, but they don't realize how many people go to this East Tennessee Fishing Show and the buying that they do there. It's one of the best pure fishing tackle shows in the country.
Well, I knew it was a big show because I've always went at least one day and shopped it, but being there all 4 days, I couldn't believe the amount of people that I saw that came through, and we had a great time last year, so we're really looking forward to this year's.
Awesome. Looking forward to seeing you there. Come and visit, and we are here at the end of another episode of the Outdoor Showcase. Anything before we go, Joe?
No, just be looking forward to seeing everybody at the show. And like I said, we give out a bunch of business cards last year with email addresses. If anybody has those, shoot us an email, and we will get that as soon as that website's up and running. You'll all be the first to know.
Okay. And if somebody wants to order some stuff now to get ready for fall fishing, what's the best way for them to get you right now?
Right now, you can email me at easttncustomjigs@yahoo.com, or you can call me and my number is 931-210-3174.
Awesome.
We're located right here in Rockwood, Tennessee, so
Perfect. Right there near Watts Bar Lake.
right on the side of the lake. So
Yes, sir. All right, Joe. Great visiting with you, and we'll see you shortly here at the East Tennessee Fishing Show coming up the end of January. We're here at the end of another episode. I'm Mike Delisco. We will see you next time here on the Outdoor Showcase.